Now, all things conspiracy. You just have to know how to navigate yourself. And the man just give you a handful right there to show you how to navigate throughout the system. The system is there for a reason, and we can navigate it and put ourselves in a position far than where we believe we can. We just have to organize ourselves the right way, and we'll be able to get there. There's a thing called people say something about, oh yeah, private trust and all that stuff. And man told you that was like 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. Those things were already done away with and put aside. They already found out the system and they're using something new. What you're gonna do? You're gonna keep using that stuff where they already revisit and conquered. Are you gonna try to use that again? You know how to step over that shit.
What you mean?
One key thing there, you gotta have a thing. There's a thing that a lot of people use called I seen this. I seen a lot of people use their trust, right? And actually, I was in a court case not too long ago trying to help somebody to get rid of their trust. So the mother died, left her property.
Okay, I'm good. Oh my God. Chief, hi. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna keep you in the comment for a minute. I'm gonna do something. I have a surprise. Yeah, I have a-
Court. I have $150,000 lawsuit on her for a creditor's claim. So the creditors come in and try to get a claim and want to take the estate because she transferred that estate within her estate. Now they want to get the asset. They want to assess that asset. Many people don't even know what how to do or protect it. So she's there and she don't even know one crap to do. So every time she asked somebody to help her, they was telling her to return to send a mail and that would work. But what happened in the court system is when they do not respond to the substance of an allegation, they're gonna hit you with the big boys. That's how they're gonna do. They're gonna hit you with the big boys.
I mean, that's not a contract though, what she was getting into. So you said a creditor came after her. So was she in a loan or did she owe money and she under a bankruptcy?
She don't own nothing. They come after her only because of the estate in which was transferred in her property. It has nothing to do with her.
So did the previous estate owe liabilities and obligations?
There you go. Yep, that's what it is. But if he had already know, if he know how to manage it,
he didn't know how to manage a estate plan properly.
There you go. She would not have to go through that crap, and she would not have to be a part of that. So yeah, she can't. What she have to do, what she should have done is show that the estate itself was insolvent. If she can show that the estate is insolvent, she'd have won her case. But what she did was not respond. Why she did not respond? Because somebody has stole her to go what? Return to sender. So she returned to sender. All mails comes and never open any of that shit. So what they do, they say, all right, then she get an opportunity to participate and did not and refused the court. So the court ordered that the estate is not insolvent. Now it becomes an allowed creditor's claim. But if she had did that thing that she's supposed to do, it would have done a disallowed. Why? Because it's insolvent. If it's insolvent, there's nothing that can be paid out of it to give to whoever it is that coming to try to claim, and then she will be protected.
So you just saw how what you just said, the private and the public intersected.
There you go.
Exactly. So when people say private and public don't mix, you're right, but they show dance upon a thin line, and that notice through the mail was private remedy before he came and became recognized as a public creditor. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. That's the little nuances that we gotta get a clarity to.
I didn't thought you were gonna pick up on that conversation because a lot of people don't pick up on why.
Yeah, bro. I just let people talk, man. I ain't gonna argue down people. That's not my purpose, and I don't got that. When I look like lip bumping with another grown man, I think about productivity.
Productivity, because that's exactly what's gonna let our society grow. And if we keep fighting against each other, we ain't gonna get nowhere. Listen, I tell you.
You're sure right. One thing he said was a man who knows anything knows he know nothing at all. There's always plenty more, aspect of the degrees for us all to keep climbing up to, no matter where you at. It is always more opportunity for evolution. That's the one thing he said I agree with. Hey, he said he changed it, and him using ChatGPT, a lot of old schools don't even want to touch that shit. So I was shocked when he said that.
Yeah. So yeah, listen. ChatGPT work as a certain tool. It have to do one key thing what a lot of people don't know. It has to tell you American laws in according to how American law is, and it has to do it in a matter of fact. So if you phrase your words properly and ask the right questions, it would definitely give you the full breakdown and detail of how to operate, how to rebut, how to cancel, how to move on things. It would also point out the material misrepresentation of facts in which the attorney or any person may be able to try to bring in a court of you, and it will show you how to defend yourself. But what you are doing, you are mixing shit with shit that doesn't apply. What I see many people are doing is trying to use criminal codes in civil cases, and the criminal codes is not giving a distinct idea on how the criminal codes apply and why it should be applied, and therefore the court case become mute simply because you do not know how to navigate yourself. And that's the problem. That's the reason why I like the man when he said he's going to use ChatGPT, because now ChatGPT will kind of try to tell you an idea how the code apply, but because you resist that code and resist that how it applied, and then you do not understand it, and therefore you become a person just like the other person that been spreading propaganda that was actually outdated.
No, man, you sure right. What I see is, and the reason I don't argue is because I meet people where they at, and I sit where I'm at the degrees I'm at. Everyone is at their point in their mind, and it's all about their journey. So just like what you said and everything you said, somebody down there, they probably ain't get shit you just said. But somebody like me who just heard that, just like when the other brother was up here the other day talking about equity, his claim, his equitable claim, his equitable right, because that's what we talking about, really rights and your entitlement, which is your right, and your right, which is property as well, and how that claim is then able to be applied because now that equitable claim is codified in statute. Just like, man, I ain't even go cap, bro. Like, hey, he put me on a video. I was watching the brother today, bro. It was really getting into how the Protestant form of philosophy was used to express and construct the nature of how the civil government is applied and codified. It's the principles and everything. And when you can see the principle, that's then where you're able to recognize it in the code.
Yeah. So all right. You've been spitting some game, man. Shit. Here's the simple thing. Some people want to deal
I'm
with
a student
sovereignty.
like everybody.
Some people want to deal with sovereignty, but the sovereignty has a platform in which it covers. Some people want to deal with equity. The equity have a platform in which it covers. Some people want to deal with the common law. The common law of a platform in which it covers. Some people want to deal with the treaty. The treaty have a platform in which it covers. And some people want to deal with the constitution. Some people even just want to deal with bullshit. Each one.
Nah, for real. Nah, that's real. Everything you just said is equity, because it's an equity in everything. And it's just now, where is your right at to where you got a claim to which relief could be granted, or where a claim could be recognized.
Yeah, you're on point, bro. I'm telling you, you're speaking
Man,
games.
I try to make it simple. I be trying to I be talking to real folks who got backgrounds that's outrageous. So I be trying to make this shit as simple as possible.
Yeah. So I start looking to the chain of things. In order for the
Exactly.
United States to have a jurisdiction over another person, that person would have to be their citizen or their subject. If we're dealing with the sovereignty level and say the United States doesn't have no jurisdiction over you, the sovereignty level, that's one of the platform. Now, how do the United States become having jurisdiction over you? We're talking about here personal jurisdiction and subject matter jurisdiction. Personal jurisdiction, we have to figure out how that works. So when you go in court and say you don't have any jurisdiction, the court is figuring out what jurisdiction you're talking about. He did not give no distinction of the jurisdiction and how the jurisdiction that you're trying to defend. So now that you go ahead and say that, and then you try to say a jurisdiction in which they actually do have the jurisdiction, they mute your argument. So you have to pinpoint the allegation of what you say. You can't just make it broad and flat headed with no backative and no supporting arguments behind of it. Then it's going to be easy to challenge because one, you're in a territory where they're at. So they don't know if you're talking about territory or jurisdiction, they do have that. Two, they are claiming you as a citizen. So you have a documentation in which claim that you are a citizen, and then you are not rebutting that to say that you're not a citizen. And how? You're not even trying to prove that the United States could not make you a citizen and that all that stuff. So you're not saying anything to them in the court of law. So now you are not making clarity statements, and they just make one rebuttal to that clarity of the statement, and then say, "Oh, you are a sovereign citizen," or say another word, regardless of that. That alone rebut his statement, and because it rebut his statement, because you have no clarity, you sit down there and say the court, while you should have just said, "Hey, it requires the Constitution requires a certain principle in order for you to have jurisdiction." And then explain on the principle of what they actually have jurisdiction. And also you have to explain the principle of nationhood, how you are a different nation from the United States. And the United States may have treaty with you, not a treaty platform kick in. You see the treaty platform kick in? That treaty platform in which they kick in now you have to show how the United States have a jurisdiction and how the treaty said they don't have a jurisdiction to do certain things, and you point out the statutes within the treaty to prove that they're doing it correctly. And because they're not getting the remedy that they claim they should have get, they're saying that the United States is not doing it the right way, or they're corrupted. Indeed, I'm not ignoring that they are they're not corrupted because they stole so many lands. What do you mean? How ignorant can I be? Right? They're operating on people's land right now. They're not indigenous to here. They're natives. And you gotta learn a key word. Natives are not indigenous here. So no matter who call themselves natives, they're just not indigenous here. So the indigenous people have rights to use their land, free passage, and all that stuff in accordance to treaty and natural law, as well as constitutional construct. But none of them have the idea to say that. What they just say is you lack jurisdiction and can't display how it happened.
I mean,
Can't.
you sure right, because the rights of indigenous people is something that the United States is most definitely a member of an association of the publisher of that document. You sure right.
So now, if you want to do private shit now, as the man said, you just go back and create your entity. Many of you guys have trust, but you don't even know the operator trust. I'm not gonna sit down here and give nobody my trust and say, here, I'm gonna charge you $15,000 for that. Because you know how long I have to sit down and write it? 4 months. I take 4 fucking months to write my trust. You think I'm just gonna get up and just give you that for fucking free? Go fuck yourself. Read a book. You just take my shit and then sell it to whoever you want. No, I'm gonna charge you for that shit. Not only that I'm gonna charge you, I'm gonna also teach you how to use it. I'm not gonna charge you that big amount of money and then don't teach you. I'm not gonna do that shit. No, in hell no way. It's a huge deal when you sit down and start to calculate every single thing that's happening around you. All of you are aware of what's going on. So it's time for some of you to sit back and start working on the shit that you need to protect, man. Because if that man did have an understanding about his trust, and the woman who got that trust asset understand about the trust, they wouldn't be in that problem, would they? No. Because why? They would have known how to protect it, how to place it where it needs to be, and keep that there, and it would become a dynasty for them. But because they did not know that, they end up losing this, losing that, and then follow outdated rules, outdated laws. There's a brother that out there I saw. He gave a young lady. I was helping this young lady with 4 properties that she has in 4 different states. And while I was helping her, and I show her how to do and stop the creditors from moving, this man started telling her codes and giving her codes that was fucking outdated. That shit was so annoying. And no matter how I tried to tell her, that woman say various mean words to me and even threatened me. So I just left. What the fuck, man? When you try to tell people the right thing and they can't understand it, sometimes it becomes dangerous for you, the person who's trying to help them. So sometimes you have to just abandon fucking ship and leave them the fuck alone. So that's why I rarely come live, because why? It's not beneficial for me. Why I'm sitting down here 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours with you guys for, and then you guys are not actually tapping the screen or sharing the live, and then want to come challenge me for me to yell at you for some bullshit that you came up with 4, 5, 6 years, 60 years ago, which is already outdated. Some foolish man come up with that shit and they realize.
Man, I ain't even gonna lie to you, gang. That's crazy, but that's wild that that you brought that here with them people in here or something? What you got named individuals? What you got
No,
ops
no, no,
out here
no,
in
no.
these
They're not.
streets?
They're not here. They're not here. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you off the top. When I tell you stuff, many of the people that I deal with is not actually TikTokers. So they're not TikTokers. So they won't be able to actually see. But when I came, many at a time when I came to my life, I'm going to other people's life. You have people that try to bring me up and try to put me in a position to try to talk against other people. I don't need to talk about other people. I already know what I doing. So when you want to tell me about other people, I've been talking to I've been talking to tomorrow. I'm gonna have a meeting with 9 nations tomorrow. 9 nations. Not many of you guys can say that. Um, 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 um,
I can.
I've been talked to various attorney generals. I've been take people car out of the system. I've done it. So I already know that they can drive with their own nationhood stuff and all that stuff. I've argued factors with people. I actually was in court today for another young lady. Wanted to try to argue her case, but I could not because of the simple fact that the position that she put me in, not because of the she herself, is because people put her in that position and let her be in that position. I was trying to fix it, but it could not be fixed because it's already long gone. Many things not answered, many things that was ignored, many mails that returned, and all that stuff. So I couldn't help her. Can't help her, but I'm gonna try still. I'm gonna try to use certain procedural rules and certain defects that they may have done, and I'm gonna file it up on the court record and make them see it and stuff. So when she ready to do a trial, she may can use that in argument. Hopefully they work. Hopefully, again, hopefully might not. But again, every single thing that you are doing, there are process and procedures, there are definition and scopes in which everything happen. You can't use a mic like a mic that you use for sound card and all that stuff and stuck it in a computer if it doesn't have a computer outlet for it. It won't work. It won't work. It just won't work. Something's gonna broke and something's gonna give. So you have to understand how rules work. 18 US Code 8 does not apply to civil cases. It's a criminal case of counterfeiting. You can look that up in any court case. You would see it said it clearly. 18 US Code 8 won't work in that category and platform. So therefore, it not gonna work. 20 US 18 US code 241242 is just a criminal case code. There's another platform for that where you can use 42 US code, which is fall underneath the civil category, and you are in a civil matter. You can't use the civil code and the criminal code to mix again. And what's going on here? There's scopes and definition, and people not using those. They're rather using everything and try to scoop it in one pot. Much love. All right. You asked a question. Now let me show you something. There's a thing called 30 days before you actually go into that court. What you do in that 30 days before you reach that court? What you do? Just sit down in your house? And that's the problem. You see, you don't have an answer for that, right? And you are the issue, not the courts. You see, when they come and give you the allegation, within that allegation, you have 30 days. You know what I do with those 30 days? I make every single personnel that when they go forward the court, they dismiss their claim. I did it 4 times already. When the first day they go into that court, the judge didn't have to make the plea or make them have a plea bargain. Why is that? Because I did my homework and know what to do before you actually go into that fucking court. And that's your issue. You have 30 days to do something. What do you did? Shit. That's it. Actually, why should I answer your question after you never answer mine?
It's like, no, you don't have to go to court, but if someone their capacity, status, agency, and principle is some of the things that are doctrines practiced amongst English common law and codified in statute, and is a part of administrative law as well as procedure.
There you go. So
So that's why when you going in there, you representing something. And I seen that before I even got into this information when a random girl walked in there for her. This wasn't even her BD, nothing. This was just somebody she was cracking on this time. And she just popped in the court for dude because he couldn't be there.
right. So you see, that's procedural rules, and that's exactly it. You can't denounce that administrative court exists because it does. So you have to figure out if the administrative court have any in a prop if they do any form of proper standing or any form of proper procedure or any form of jurisdiction to be able to pull you in that court, or who gave them the authority and the delegation of authority to be able to actually do those process. Once you figure out if they don't, then you go ahead and let the court knows. You don't sit in the freaking ass or do nothing. And then once you go up there and ask them, hey, could you go ahead and plead on the documentation that I had before you? They would put it aside. They put the case aside 5 times already, 4 times already in front of my face. Of course you are. You're obligated.
So I wanna
Why you
shine light on
obligated? Let me show
something.
you why you're
Because
obligated.
this what
Because you've
both
been
of y'all right,
accused.
right? Because y'all just, man, y'all kind of arguing and y'all kind of bringing down the frequency, but
I don't like answering questions because you don't answer questions. Because there's an
all
accusation.
right, because this is the reason.
Because
This is
there's
the
an
for real
accusation.
reason. It's the for real
Because there's an
reason. Like,
accusation. That's what it is. There is one accusation, and every remedy is required for each person to receive if there's a damage according to what it is. So since there's an accusation, you need to respond to that accusation.
y'all
Is
should
there
look
not?
into the UCC as well in the statute, because it's something called infancy as well as incapacity, and those are actual claims and actual statuses and capacities that are administered and accounted for. This whole system is built off of risk management. So one thing that a lot of people don't highlight that I be trying to point at, and that I'm gonna be building on with some more of my Muslim brothers with, is everybody talk about 27 CFR 7211 and commercial crimes. But if you read what subsection it's a part of, all of those different sections you got to click into to get into that. One of them is disposition of seized property, and then the other one is the treasury. So now this is risk management system. So what I'm getting at when I'm expressing, what where both of y'all hitting at, y'all both correct, but it's also going back to that whole degrees thing as well. Is where you see it and how far along in the history you know. Not saying it's all just simply history, but it's also what you understand when you read these terms, just like he said. You feel me?
But it's also minimum contacts and police power.
All
Yeah,
right.
but that's going back into own
Even
nothing,
before you
control
reach there,
everything. That's
even before you reach all the way you're going, every single way that they're going, there's one key thing that control it: an accusation. That's it. An accusation is
what is
arise.
that?
An allegation as arise,
What is
and
that allegation called as well? Not saying that you wrong, but I'm
I'm just
adding
saying.
on
I'm
to what you're
Information.
saying.
a claim is brought before the court.
Right. There we go. A claim, a charge, an instrument, a charge,
You
an
see, that's the
instrument.
problem right there. See, that's your problem right there. So that's why
That's
you
where
have to
that.
go
That's
answer
where
it
that
and tell them that you
commercial
don't
crime
have
come
it.
in.
And that's why you have to answer, say you don't have no contract on it. So it's still not an
No,
answer.
no, I ain't saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
No, no,
I
hold on,
mean,
hold on,
yes, that
hold
is
on.
a
He's asking
claim.
a question. Let me finish because he like to ask questions but don't answer anything. So go ahead and ask a question, and when you ask the question, I'm going to ask you a question. I need you to answer. It's don't ask me nothing more. Don't ask me nothing more. I'm here. I'm gonna go. All right. So again, what do you did within the fucking 30 days before the court date?
That is true.
You see, that's the
But
problem
then,
again.
but then,
You
but
see that
then, when you
again. You
say
see that
that,
again. No
when you
answer,
say
right?
that, nah, Cool Fox
Bye.
right though, because when you say
Bye.
that,
I don't
it's
want
like
to do
when you
this.
say
Bye.
that, you are expressing you are a certain individual in a certain status in a certain capacity, and this not me being disrespectful. This is just what the law view, and this is where when you look into, history and principles of law and what all forms of English law they, you know, UCC
The same
3-501.
constitution that you know. Don't go that far, my brother. Don't go that far to the UCC.
They
The
go a
same
statue.
constitution talk about the right to face the accuser. The same constitution that talk about the rights. The same constitution that you keep bragging about. That same thing. You are ignoring those same factor. And this is the problem. You like to ask questions but won't answer anything. If you did not, what the fuck the court knows, what the court knows about you not having a contract or not. They don't, they weren't there. So the allegation arise. The claim came to the court. The only thing the court can do to prove everything is that ask you to come and face it. And you did nothing. It doesn't matter if you put doodle on the goddamn paper, right? Once the man accuse you, right? It's accusation of you. Even if the contract is not there, the judge is not there, but he must be an unbiased person. One thing the document said in the federal rules, it said a claim arising to the entitlement that you relief that you want. That's it. And that's all you need to state. And you are here trying to ignore those factors to try to tell me otherwise. And every time I ask you to answer the question, you won't. Because you're
See, look,
ignoring things that I've pointed out to you.
man. This is why I love my people, man. I'm gonna open a private school, bro. We gonna put, hey, the 7 gonna be the stamp on the graduation certificates. That's that creed, folks. Gonna man, because folks at degrees. Everybody at their degree.
Hey
All of the
y'all.
books divinely prepared by the moral science.
Right. I just wanted to add something.
This bitch
It
gonna be wrong.
says in the because I'm up here in Colorado. I'm from Georgia, but it says that in the Colorado revised statute that the only way you could bring a claim against the state treasury is for malfeasance. And I know a lot of you
Mm.
guys can dig that and put that together, and that's what we're doing now because we're on our way to the highest court of the land. We have a right to self-govern. Y'all been dealing with all stuff, misappropriating the funds. Give us our shit back. Let's do an accounting. Get your piece, give us ours, and let's go our way. Put it in the account for which
That's
we're
crazy.
eligible.
I'll look at a sheet of property before malfeasance.
Yep, there's a lot of property out there. But yeah, Chief, you're asking some good questions so people can understand. But the problem I have with you is that you don't answer nothing. Because in order for me to get clarity,
Well,
I
y'all
need
be
an
having
answer.
ops on this net, folks. Yeah.
Yeah, when I ask you, yeah, you did not. You keep shut. You have to say if it did something.
Criminal courts don't look at
It's a
contracts. They don't
different. It's
accept
a
them as contracts. Well, I'm telling you, you keep bringing up contracts that don't exist in criminal courts. That doesn't matter. Okay. Good. All right, go ahead. I apologize.
that's a bogus. That's a bogus explanation. Let me give you the breakdown on why.
Hey, I see why y'all ops now.
No, 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 no. We're not hops because
Man.
I encourage him to come to my live all the time. Because if we were hops, I wouldn't keep him around. What he is, I'm gonna tell you what he is. He's a guy that have valuable concerns, and he's not the only one that think like that. So you have to allow him to be around you so you can actually talk to him and let the other people that have the same mindset and they understand what you're saying. So you cannot discourage men like him. You have to let him stay around you so you can actually teach in the proper way so he can actually come to the comprehension because he's not alone on his thoughts. So we have to keep people like him around so other people can learn from what he's teaching and how they can see it. Maybe he's not gonna see it at all, but other people around him might see it and even change. So we have to keep person like him around. Can't let him go. Right? So now let's address it and show you why it's bogus. You are trying to use a people outside of court system process and then court system, and then you don't understand why the first place court system was set up. Court system was set up for the same reason that you explained, so that why when you do it outside, it does not meet no criteria. But when you do it in a court, the criteria is a prerequisite, and you have to show up. So that's the problem what you're having right there. You don't know what the purpose of the court is. So when you figure out what the purpose of a court is, then you would know that what you're saying is a bogus explanation. Period. The superior, the superior. You can find it in John Bouvier dictionary. You can find it in Blackstone, and you can find it in
Hold on, cause if we step in that Bouvier's, I'm gonna get in that Bouvier's for real now.
right? So no, what I think I'm saying, you may not know it because you never read those books, right? I'm not saying that you're illiterate or do not
Nah,
disrespect man
nah,
like that.
nah, man.
That's
I'm
not what I'm
playing with
saying. You might not just read that book. So because you may not read those books, you don't understand why I said it. You see, government are structured around society by the society themselves, and they put people that have superior power over it and grant them those power so they can exercise the authority to assess disputes like what you just mentioned. Now to try to
you.
use it
Assess
to
risk,
regulate.
I'd rather say, cause you right, but I'll just say risk, cause risk is a totality of a lot of fragmented compartments.
Right. So oh God, yeah. Wait, just tell me what you're trying to. Just tell me what you're trying to get at. Just tell me what you're trying to get at. Because just tell me what you're trying to. Because you just tell me what you're trying to
The
get at. Everybody
record.
know that. The af- So then why don't you build your courts? What's the purpose? Oh, then why didn't you shut up then, man? Because what? If you
I
don't
don't,
have a court,
man. Y'all gotta
some
know what
court
court
is
is.
need, some court is needed. You need to be quiet then, bro. Because court is still needed. What are you saying, man? It doesn't matter what you think of people getting justice. Justice has been administered many times before. You are not in the position with the people that receive justice. Do you know that you can also request the court to suppress your losses as well? Do you know that? Do you know that they can do that? Did you ever know that? Did you know that when you go to the court and get a traffic ticket, you can actually request the court to suppress it? It's the same right that they has. So if they choose to invoke that fucking right, why do you believe that you could say what you're saying? So then what do you put in replace of it? Because when you destroy for when you dis no no when you destroy for your own purposes, your own feelings, and your own thing that you go through, what happened to the other rest of people that actually get remedy and need them? No, but the majority still depend on it.
Motherfucking Apple Jacks box. Goddamn it. Ding, ding, ding. Surety and property.
Well,
But then that's not tying it to where it's then because all right, I meet people where they at, man. I ain't trying to bring nobody down, but you not tying it to where then it's codified and enforceable. Because just like the definition of court isn't strictly just a building, it's a form, where decisions are made. So it's like, yeah, you right when it's speaking about property, but it's just like why I kept saying that 27 CFR. Is because everything tying to that 27 CFR starts heading towards the disposition of property. And now that's getting into banking terms and now evidence of rights. I really see it as accounting and risk management. That's what accounting is really. Hey, look,
because
that's why I'm saying
you're not trying to
it's like, brother, where you at with it? You
yeah,
at where it's like a
personal.
where people just throw that shit at you and they don't give you to where that shit actually comes into a like it's strictly substance, not form. That's it. Like it's just the tail part of it. It's not the form part of it where it actually gets into literal wisdom. The devil. Which is
You right about that,
confusion and
Chief.
ignorance, man. Folks don't know what's going on. It's they
the
self.
first thing, the
They
first
don't
thing
know
is
that they doing it to they self. Man, for real. Like it's ignorance and confusion. They don't know what the hell they getting into. They assume that they do. Everybody assumes you know banking. Everybody assumes you know the credit system. Everybody assumes you know law. So they assume you know the rules and you choosing to do this shit. But that's not their job. That's not their job. It's like, hey, hey, what
and
what do grown people tell kids? Stay out of grown folks' business.
you are the
So if
problem
you
to
ain't ready for
yourself.
this grown folks' business, why you getting involved in it? Nobody told you to walk your ass in here with them.
And that's exactly what you're doing and trying to explain it just now. You just said that just now.
Nobody told you walk in this mug with that name and that number and give it to us and sign this piece of paper. We ain't put a pipe to your head.
You go and then you're going to do this thing and then you're going to blame people. I don't see that.
Exactly. That's why they say, hey, you sign that contract, bro. This grown folks' business. Why ain't your parents tell you not to come out here and just sign shit? Oh, they was doing that? Then y'all sound like incapacitated individuals. Where's your guardian over that property? So if you look at the United States in totality, that's why I love the book by Frank Fabozzi on fixed income securities and their features. But when you look at how he expressed the covenant in it all, and you look at the risk management in it, the whole system accounts for risk management. One of my elders in Chicago told me a story about when he used to go to traffic court. This was back in like the 40s. So bro was like, when we went to traffic court back then, we all just walked in there a whole group, the judge will say some shit, womp 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 womp. Like I'm like, nigga, that's Charlie Brown. Y'all Charlie Brown, them dumbasses, cause y'all ain't know what the fuck was going on. That man was probably telling y'all, hey, so much administration, what they're doing, and we're gonna handle it all and where to go collect. And just told y'all to leave. He said all they got was told words and then they left. That's what happened when you got a ticket back then in Chicago. So they got the bar association because it's certain ethics and principles you got to know before they allow you to do that. So what I'm getting at and why I say that is that the law is principles. Before anything, before paper, before anything, it's principles, right? It's the word, right? As scriptures say, right? The word. Then the word came to form when he told Moses to sit his ass down and write this down, right? So so now when we looking at it as principle, which is substance, coming to form, it's the same thing with the codified statutes. The only difference is in English common law, and one of the things that was practiced by the Moors as well. So as well, Islamic law was agency, principle and agency. Accounting was necessary. That was something that the Egyptians did. That's why when he said, Yusuf said what he said about a UCC1, it's a lot of things with a UCC1, but the biggest thing is it's perfecting title. Chain of title, that is risk management. That is a part of the estate plan, and that is a part of commercial papers. That is a part of really ownership and control of assets. I be trying to connect it. I trying, I do.
You know what I see? You know what I see? You know what I see in you? How can it base on
They do
ignorance?
teach you law in
No, no,
school.
wait,
It's
wait. Let,
your
let me
job
ask
to
a
want to
question. I have an
investigate
important
more.
question to ask. I have a very important question to ask. How does it base on ignorance?
But that's
So
not
they
their
so they
job.
base
That's
on
your
law.
parents' job.
They base a structure. They base a structure of governance, procedures, rules, and all of these things on ignorance. That's what they base it on. Oh, the different phrase. Okay.
Yeah.
How do they
Hey,
keep you ignorant but post their laws all over the place?
Bro, that's what I'm
every
saying. That's not taking accountability and responsibility. We too damn old now.
Hey,
We got
thank you so
kids.
much, bro.
We got kids. When our kids look up at us and they ask us, "What's all this shit?" and "What was
Much
going
love,
on? What
much
was you
love.
doing?" You can't say these people wasn't. Man, we can't say that no more. What we gonna say to our kids, man? We can't do that, bruh.
About
Man, I
motivation.
went to bruh. I came back
So
to
wait,
Chicago to the
I can't
rack.
understand it.
I went to the Daily Center in Chicago. I went to the law library. I saw a little, pretty little, you feel me, that's in law school. Man, nah. We got legs. Hey, God gave us ability, man. The statues is on the internet. Law Cornell.
Man, it's in the libraries, bro. It's in the libraries. It's in the
Bro,
libraries in
come
the
on now. Come on.
newspapers.
We can't do that. We men. We men. We can't do that now. Come on that. We men.
So you see,
Who gonna pick up baby when she tired? Come on now. Right. And after 22 years old, man, it's your responsibility. Man, you ready. You ready.
You are the one who you are the one who painted that shit narrative to people. That's what you before this. You know what our forefathers used to do.
Why would you
You
want
know
to be
before this.
average,
You
bro?
know what our
Even
forefathers
when
used to
I
do.
did work a job, I still hustled, bro. I was getting chicken.
Well, I
Where
seen
y'all
poor
hustle at,
people.
folks? Where y'all hustle at? Islam, a man got to be a provisionary.
Yeah, that's what you. Yeah, you need to go get the platform for yourself, man.
Yo,
That's
when
all they
my
want to do.
son turned
They want
18,
to
I
speak
want him to be
narratives in
like
people, man.
Pops was that man. Folks was a gangster and a gentleman. Well versed. That's what a noble would do. You a noble. Stop saying something hard, man. You a leader, guy. You a leader, bruh. Like you gotta be a leader.
Bro, you can't even answer
Bro, you
questions, man.
gotta
That's
know
the first thing you need to
procedure
do.
though. Like a
And you got
claim
to
Any
gotta
speak
be
the
man
right
blind,
expressed.
energy.
any
You got to
man
speak
blind
the right
himself.
energy, bro.
So it sounds like you want, man. That's
Let
a
me
part of civilization, brother.
now
That's what
now
I'm
watch it,
getting.
watch it, watch it, watch it, my friend. Watch it, watch